Hey, third grade. Today we are going to continue working on equivalent fractions, and we're just going to use some of the tools on Seesaw today to do some hops on a number line to figure out some equivalent fractions. So it says using the number line, show an equivalent fraction to 1/4. So one thing that we know about our number line is that it is always going to start at a 0 right here. Okay, if we're at 0, I'm going to try to use my tools to draw 0. All right, so if we're at 0 and we do our first hop, second hop, third hop, fourth hop, this is where the number 1 would be. And since we have 4 parts of this number line, these are fourths. So I'm going to try to label it with my little labeling tool. And on a computer, you can write fractions using this button that has the question mark on it. It'll do a little slash like that. So this means 1/4. All right, so I'm going to click on the hand. I can make it smaller, drag it to my number line. Here's 1/4. The next one would be 2/4. This line would be called 3/4. See, wherever the text box pops up, that's where I type in my answer, and then I can use this to resize it. It makes it a lot easier. And so if we have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, the last line would be 4/4. All right, so if I take a look at the next number line, I have to see how many parts this line is split into before I know what fraction we're talking about. So this is where 0 would be. Okay, and I'm going to do my hops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so since this number line is broken into 8 parts, these will be called eighths. Here's where my number 1 is going to be. All right, so I'm going to do my text box again. First, it's going to be 1/8. 2/8. 3/8. 4/8. This doesn't have to be fancy. This will just show me that you know what fraction you're working with. 5/8. 6/8. 7/8. And last but not least, 8/8. All right, and now that we know where the fractions are on the number line, to be able to find our equivalent fractions, we are going to look for places where the lines match up. So we have 1/4 right here, our first hop. If you look right under 1/4, we see the fraction 2/8. So 1/4 is equivalent to 2/8. I am going to have you take any color you want and circle this equivalent fraction. Do you see another place on the number line where there are 2 fractions in the same place? Right here. 2/4 is equal to 4/8. They're in the same spot on the number line, which means they are the same size. Can you find another one? Great, right here. 3/4 is equal to 6/8. Great. And then last but not least, I see one more place where the lines are in the same spot. 4/4 is equivalent to 8/8. They're in the same spot on the number line. All right, so there are quite a few pages for you to do. If you need to draw out every single fraction on the number line, go for it. If you can figure out which fractions go there, I'm okay with you just typing the fractions underneath the equivalent fractions, but please make sure that you circle the equivalent fractions so that I know that you know that they are the same. So just make sure that you have your fractions labeled and circled if they are on the same spot on the number line to show that they are equal. All right, good luck. Have fun.